Hi everyone, welcome back to Mindful Minute. It's Gabby. So you guys, it's been forever, and I'm sorry that I've been very much MIA. I'm back to talk about just some updates on my life, and to just say that this podcast is still very much important to me. However, I was working from June up until December, and even before that, with graduation, I was just very busy with other things that I kind of had going on. So now that I am, I'm looking for a new job now, but in the meantime, as I do that, I really just want to continue to constantly put out content here for you guys, because I know that a lot of people really do love this podcast, and I think, making sure I dedicate time to not just my other podcast that I'm working on, but also this one, because this is my main one that I was always kind of working on. So yeah, I hope everybody is doing good. I hope you all enjoyed the holidays and had a safe holiday with your family and loved ones. So yeah, I guess I'm just gonna jump right into it. Just to kind of talk about how things have been for me over, I don't know when the last episode was, but I guess we could still call this season 2, since I don't think I put out enough podcast episodes for it to be a completed season. But hey, it is what it is. So sorry if you hear me turning something, it's because I'm adjusting the mic a little bit. So yeah, anyways, so like I said before, I finished school in December of 2021, and then for 5 months I basically spent time trying to figure out what I wanted to do next. And what I wanted to do next was create a business surrounded which is basically built on motivational speaking, which is what I want to do. And so in February, I started the process with my cousin, who is, I claim her also to be my manager. So she works with me, she helps me, she's always been very supportive of me. So I reached out to her because I was like, I could really make this a thing, let me see if I can go ahead and start working on this business, since I didn't have a job at the time. I didn't even know that I was going to find a job right away, because to me, once you graduate college, there's all this idea that oh, you need to, you need to have a job, and you need to have a job immediately the minute you get out of college, right? And I thought, well, shit, I'm not in that category of people who have found a job immediately after graduating. So to me, I was just like, dang, what am I gonna do? And for a while, a lot of people were telling me, oh, you should really go into motivational speaking. And I was like, okay, I'll give it a try, and so then I started to, the first thing that we did was to create business cards, because I had a conference that I went to in May, and so the idea was to hopefully have enough, have the business cards by then, so that this way I could give them out at the conference. Sadly, and it was no fault to my cousin or anybody that we were working with, it's just, I am blind to anybody that may come across this, that is, wondering who I am. If you want to look at and listen to my other episodes, but I'm completely blind. And so for me, I didn't just want the business cards to be in print or just in Braille. I wanted them to be a combination of the two. And so I was like, okay, well, we need to figure out where we're gonna get this done, who's gonna be able to do it, and do a good job, and really go for the idea that we had in mind. And so my cousin reached out to a lot of people, and we're like, okay, we found someone, we can do this. And we got the business cards. However, they didn't end up coming until like the second day that I was at my conference. And so I was like, it's okay, like next time, you know? So that was really like the first step that we took was, let's create business cards, let's reach out to people, let's reach out to schools and see if they're looking for a speaker. And so that's what I did. I made a whole entire list of schools, and I started reaching out to different ones to see who would, you know, be like, yes, like come in, let's you know, have you talk to this, you know, at this event, or let's have you talk to this class. However, which this part really ended up like not being like okay, well, back in March I had put out a podcast episode talking about, you know, feeling discouraged and stuff like that. And so this is around that time when like I was experiencing that, because to me, I wanted to just go and speak and share my story and inspire other people and meet other people. And so when all the schools that I reached out to were like, oh yeah, well, like we'll keep you on the list, and only one person really was like emailing me back and forth, and she was like, listen, you know, I gave your information to the right person, and if they need you, you know, I hope that they'll reach out to you. And so I was like waiting, and finally I was just like, let me follow up just in case. And I did, and still they were like, oh no, like we're not looking for anybody, we're gonna just stick to our alumni. And I was like, oh, okay, cool, whatever. So it started to really make me feel discouraged. And even a little bit before that, like before I really started this business, I was like, what am I gonna do? How am I gonna do this? Like, what do I need in order to help myself succeed in this? And so it was a couple of months of just feeling very much like stuck, because I was like, I don't know how I'm going to like figure this out. And luckily my cousin was very much, and is still very much, involved in the process of what I'm trying to do. And so after we made our business cards, I really did love them, and I started like putting a set in like each bag that I would take, so that this way if I encountered people, I would be like, oh, here, like if in case you're looking for a speaker, or you know anybody that's looking for a speaker. And then I did end up getting like a speaking gig in May that was through someone that is in my own like connection. And so, you know, it was a small group of people, but still, like a small group of people still counts. And so I think I started to look at it from, it's okay, like you are still trying, you're still trying to find opportunities. So, and at this point, by May, I had applied to a job, and I didn't really think I was gonna get it, because I was just like, my major was specifically in communications, and this was like technology, and so I was like, all right, whatever, we'll just see how, we'll let the chips fall where they may. And so I went about, like, I went to LA for my birthday, and I had a great time. So while I was in LA, they emailed me and was like, oh, hey, like, please, like, you know, select the time for your interview. And I was like, oh, okay. So I did that, and then while I was in LA, I got the interview. I did the interview, and then literally the day before I was leaving to come back home, I got an email, and they were like, oh, hey, we just want to let you know that the offer is, you know, if you want to accept this, feel free to, but, you know, just let us know. And I was like talking to my family, I'm like, do you guys think I should do it? Like, I have no experience really in this. And they were like, yeah, just see how it works out. You know, if it's not your cup of tea, you don't have to stay, you don't have to be fully committed to it. Because the thing is, it was like an apprenticeship. And so I was like, what if I don't like it, or not that I don't like it, but like, what if it doesn't work out, you know? And so I started in June. May, I had my graduation and, you know, my conference, which was really exciting because I got to be on a panel for that. But then June came around, and I had my that's when I started my job. And keep in mind, like, all throughout this, I was still trying to figure out, okay, the business. Like, I'm a content creator. What am I gonna do? I need help, like, filming and editing, and so it was just me very much going down like a spiral of like trying to figure out, I want to get content out on this platform. I need to focus on, getting content curated for the podcast and for this thing and for that thing. And so it was very much me trying to, I didn't really pick and choose the things I thought were really important for me to focus on. I was just very much like a scatterbrain person, because my mind was like, okay, the business, like, we need to find speaking opportunities. I'm not finding speaking opportunities. And I kept reaching out to people, and everybody's like, oh, reach out to this person, reach out to that person. And I was just like, I've done that already. And no one's, like, I'm not getting a response. And so I finally was like, you know what? I am not going to keep on trying to contact people and trying to be consistent when other people aren't being consistent. And so then I started working. I did some traveling over the summer, and then in September, I think. Yeah. September, I was like filming a video with my friend. Oh no, this was October. So in like September, it was pretty chill, and I was still working. And then October, my friend, I was like, hey, do you mind like being my assistant? Like, I'll hire you to just come and film and help me edit, and come with me to events, and all that good stuff. Sorry, you guys, I'm kind of losing my voice. And so my friend was like, yeah, sure. However, it didn't really last long because she was having issues with her computer. And so I spent time like trying to figure out like, who am I going to reach out to? Because I didn't really know. The thing is, and I still don't right now at this point in time, I still don't know people in this industry that I could be like, oh, hey, like, could you give me a recommendation for an assistant, or something like that. And so I had to keep asking like people in my connection to say like, hey, does anybody know anybody that I can hire onto this team to kind of help with developing my website, to help with the editing and filming, and to come with me to any events that I want to go to network, or if I get speaking opportunities, and when I get speaking opportunities, to come film those so I can put it up on YouTube and put it on my site. And so a lot of people were like, no, we don't really know anybody. And so I hired on my friend, the one that was previously my assistant. I hired on her friend, and I was like, hey, like, would you be down to like do this internship? Because I was essentially just looking for an intern. And she was like, yeah. So I'm still working with her now, and she's been editing and filming for me. And so it's been helpful, because it allows me to kind of like take more control on the content aspect of things, because before it was just me. Like, I was the one filming, I was the one editing, I was the one thinking about the content, which at first when I thought about it, I was like, I don't really mind, because I was just like, I love what I'm doing, and I want to continue to provide like high quality content. I want the aesthetic to be right. But even then, before I hired on my current assistant, I didn't really have like a specific set in stone aesthetic for my videos. And so to me, I was telling my assistant, like, when she started, I was like, listen, a lot of what I need your help with is making sure I look, and it's not what I'm gonna say is not me trying to sound like cocky or like show off type of person, but like, I'm just like, make sure I look good in the camera, like make sure like my hair is good, because I can fix my hair and I can go sit in front of the camera and film. But sometimes, you got to make sure like it's actually looking good, because to me, I could just, style it and do this and do that. But in reality, it's like your background has to be aesthetically pleasing. You yourself have to present yourself on screen in an aesthetic way, because one thing I realized is that sighted people, the way you guys kind of approach like watching anything to do with media, the way you look at a video and what makes you click on a video is the aesthetic of the video. And so I was like, I need to make sure like it looks good, I can't just like sit here and we can't just film like lower quality content. And so we started to work on And I even had my brother like give me suggestions, and he was like, listen, like, why don't you do something like with sunglasses? Like, you should wear sunglasses, like different sunglasses in each video, like, let's start looking into that. And so I was like, okay. So I started to slowly, guys, I'm losing my voice, I'm so sorry. I started to slowly like start doing that, and like utilizing like just using my sunglasses, and like dressing in a different way, because like I tend to just like throw on like a cute shirt and like a pair of jeans. But I was like, why don't I do this? Like, I could do something more fashionably pleasing. And so I started to do that bit by bit, and we're still working on the background. Like, I have like one place in the house that I sit when we film. I'm so sorry, you guys, I'm losing my voice like crazy. It's not even funny. I'm sorry, I sound so horrible. Anyways, so we started to do that, and it's been going good. I mean, I don't really have any issues, to be honest. I think that we are still working on our own, like, because the thing is, I went to school with her too, and we weren't really like friends in school, and so now we're like trying to, we're trying to figure out our own like communication way of like communicating with each other, and like just like the scheduling of when I want content to go out. And right now it's on Wednesdays, but I think I'm gonna change it to Saturdays, and or to Fridays. I think I'm gonna start doing twice a week again. Anyways, I don't know why you guys care about that. None of you probably that listen to this are subscribed to my channel. But if you are, thank you for thanks for being a supporter over here. So I think for me, like, the whole thing with last year was just me trying to really focus on my own brand, like my personal brand, my career, like essentially what I want to do. And it started to become very much like, what am I going to work on? How do I, so we started working on a website. And I have my assistant, which has been helpful. Like, I told her, I was like, listen, like, you've been a great help, because again, she does help with a lot of the like content creation ideas, but however, it's like it kind of allows me to take more lead and to say, like, this is the type of video I want to film, and then I'll just leave up to her like how she wants to film it, how she thinks would be the best way to edit it. I do give her suggestions for editing. I think overall, like, last year was definitely a learning process for me, and so far this year has been pretty good. The one thing is that I've just been looking for a new job. I no longer work with the previous organization that I was working with. However, right now, like, I've just been trying to focus on opportunities that I can create for myself, because one thing I realized is that I did a lot of research on trying to find networking opportunities, but specifically targeted just for motivational speakers. And the only thing that really exists out there that I know of is Toastmasters, which is something I'm going to be getting involved with soon. I'm just thinking about how can I create opportunities for myself, because at the end of the day, like, I need to still focus on my career. Like, yes, I'm looking for a job to gain that income, because I have people on my team that I want to start, like my cousin especially. I want to start like actually making sure these people are like gaining a good income from working with me, and not just like helping, which has been amazing. And I know that, like, specifically my assistant, I know she's also looking for her own job, and this isn't what she wants to specifically do. But I think in the meantime, like, making sure that they know that I'm not just like trying to, like, because you're helping me, I don't want it to seem like, oh, I'm helping her and she doesn't care. Like, I care. The thing is, I care a lot about people, and I care a lot about the people that I'm working with. And so it's like, if you come to me with an issue, I'm not going to be mad at you about it. Like, I can't stand when I hear people get mad at their assistants because an issue came up, or because their manager like didn't do this for them. No, at the end of the day, one, my cousin's my family. Like, I would never, first of all, be mad at her if she's like, hey, I didn't find this opportunity. I'm not going to like penalize any of them for any of that. And so, like, my assistant, I'm not going to mention a lot of details, but I will say, like, she has something she's been dealing with. And so it's like, she's like, oh, is that okay with you that like the video's gonna be late? I'm like, listen, I'm not mad at you. Like, I'm not mad at you at all. At the end of the day, like, life is sometimes very tricky, and sometimes things happen, and sometimes you can't specifically post on the day that you want to post on, and you can't schedule things for a specific time, especially if like things are very uncertain at times. And so I told her, I was like, listen, I'm not mad at you. Like, I don't want you to think that I'm gonna like be very upset with you over you telling me that something can't work out for this week that we need to post. Like, I'm never gonna be that type of person, nor have I ever been that type of person. Like, as I continue to move forward with this business, and the more people I encounter, and I know once she finds her own job and she stops being my assistant, whoever I hire next, like, I'm never gonna like look at my assistant and be like, go get me a coffee from Starbucks. Like, I would appreciate that you would do that, and I would ask you very kindly, but I would never be like, ugh, so you can't help me today? Wow, okay, I see how it is. Like, no, at the end of the day, like, you have things to take care of, and I would never get mad at her for like needing to like take a break, or needing to like take more time to get something done because other things are going on in her life. Like, I would never do that to somebody, because I think that's horrible. At the end of the day, like, you need to be patient, and I think that's one thing that society as a like just I think in society in general, it just lacks the patience for things. And so I think when people hire like assistants, they're just like, oh, well, this person said she can't come in today to help me, so like I'm gonna fire her. Like, I would, what? That is crazy. Excuse you. That is so rude. Like, no. I hate when I see those things happening, because it's just like, yo, give them a break. Like, they're doing everything you're asking of them. They're like putting in the work. They're clearly trying to like gain an income, while, and in my situation, like, me and her are both still looking for jobs. And so it's just like, yeah, no. I just wanted to say that, because I think sometimes, you know, I the thing is with me, when I know what I want, I know what I want. And so I think when I say to someone, like, if I tell my assistant, like, hey, can you add in the voiceover for this editing thing? Like, I know that that's how I want my editing to look. And so, yes, I'll give you the freedom to like create it in however way you want. But I think as someone who's the person like putting it out, I want to make sure that I give you the suggestions, because I'm not just like making content for sighted people to see it. I'm also making content that's going to be accessible to blind people. So like, if there's B-roll, there needs to be a voiceover saying, hey, like, Gabby's, doing this thing, or she's, doing that thing, and make it very descriptive, because I've put up videos before where there was no voiceover because I didn't really know how to describe it properly. And so I think in times when I specifically know how I want things to look, I think you kind of have to sometimes like be a little bit more, I'm not like, you have to kind of be very, very proactive with those things and say like, listen, I appreciate your suggestions, but like, it would be better if you did the description for this thing, or if you, maybe suggest, like, give them suggestions. And I think that's what I need to do, and that's what I have to do, because at the end of the day, like, I appreciate the fact that she edits and she films for me, but it's also like, I will give you all the creative like freedom with my editing. However, I think I will still always have suggestions, because at the end of the day, like, this is the content I'm trying to put out, and I think, making sure that my blind viewers can have access to it and make sure it's accessible. So I think in that situation, like, I'm very specific with things like that. But overall, I feel like my goal for the rest of this year is just to really, really, really like focus on this business, get my website finally up and running. The only thing I've been trying to do is like get my headshots taken, and just like find more opportunities. And I feel like once I get that site up and running and I start sharing it and posting it places, like, I am hoping that more places will reach out and be like, hey, we want you to come speak at this event, or we want you to come do this thing. And so I am just, really grateful for the learning experiences that I had last year. I feel like I definitely grew through it all because it taught me a lot about myself. It taught me about timing. It taught me about trusting the process. And as much as we as humans try to rush things, I feel like that never really helps because we have to just learn how to take things bit by bit and one step at a time. And that's what I've been trying to do. So, yeah, you guys, that's really my update. I'm still looking to date. I'm still trying to find me a man because your girl's single and it's 2023 and I'm officially just like I'm putting myself out there more. I need to. Like not for anybody else, just for myself. Like I want to find someone. I want to start dating more. So yeah, just wish me the best of luck with that. And yeah, I'm just gonna, figure out what I gotta do, and that's what I would hope for all of the rest of you. If you're trying to build up a business or a brand or whatever, just make sure you're taking the time for yourself. Make sure you show the people that you're working with on your team appreciation because they're putting in the hard work as well. And so, yeah, all right, you guys, I will see you in the next episode. Thanks for listening.